Woo! Our portfolios have been on the upper trend thanks to crypto and some momentum that's been building up in the market. And feds have paused rates, meaning people are starting to get accustomed to where the rate is at right now, just their living, their expenses, their lending. That's how it works. Like the minute it stays flat, people aren't panicking as much. They start adjusting. Over time, this becomes the new norm. Investors are going to look at this as a stabilized platforms that they can actually put more money towards. And that's what's potentially making the market go up. If they drop interest rates, it's going to make things go even more crazier. The housing prices and all this stuff, I'm not getting into in this video, but I'm also not getting to right now personally because I'm still waiting to see how things fluctuate. If it doesn't financially make sense, meaning the money that I'm putting in, there's no return where I can even break even, it makes no sense at all. But look at our portfolio for the custodial account that I had built for my godson. We are up almost 3 times. Well, we are over 3 times the original investment. I had put $1,000 in and we have $2,500 in gains. So we are on our way to having 4x from the original investment, which is pretty insane for the 18 months since I built out this account. This is not pure gamble. This is not me trying to be flashy about it at all because the market goes up and down. There's no way I could have predicted this would have happened at this time. I just knew in the future, some point down the line, and he's young. He's only 2 years old. By the time he's like 18, this account builds up and everything. He'll have enough to pay for his college fees, tuitions, books, things like that, whatever he needs in the future. And that's the mindset that I put when I came to choosing these investments. I think about things that I think are sustainable for the long run and the 10-15 mark when he probably will need these funds. Woo! Look at our normal brokerage account. We are up almost 5 times from what the original investment up was. The 400% is the gain. If you multiply that, if you add the 100% to it, so it pretty much equates to 5x from what you originally invested in, which is massively insane as well. I did not anticipate this. I just concentrated this portfolio when I was building this out with grayscale stocks, because this was supposed to be my penny stock playing portfolio. But instead, I decided to invest more into grayscale and said I'm going to make this my crypto-based portfolio of stocks that are linked to it so that when it does go up, it shoots up with it. But let's dive into the 2 portfolios that I had given advice on in December. This is the 4th follow-up video in regards to updates on how well the portfolio has been doing. Starting with our $1,000 portfolio, we can see ETCG, $25 in return, LTCN, $85 in return, BCHG, $216 in return. BCHG has been on fire, I can tell you that, but we did buy it pretty low, so I did anticipate for that to kind of happen. That's why I banked more on BCHD than LTCN, because it dropped so low I was like, this is insane. The normal price for it to get back to, by the time it gets there, I should definitely X times my money. And how much did we invest in it originally, right? So we put $100 in ETCG, $100 in LTCN, and $100 in BCHD. So about the same in each. And these are not the actual amount. These are just more estimated amount that we decided to put in. And let's look at everything else. VRAR, they're in the AR space, VR space. I don't anticipate them to go crazy right now. I think they're a long-term company. If you are patient enough in terms of what's going on in that whole new space when it comes to Web 3.0, they're potentially a company you can look at. I found about this company for a friend of mine. She had gotten some equity stake in it before they went public, and she made out pretty decently so far. So I'm holding on to it for that long term. Beyond Me, we're pretty much almost flat as well. I don't know what's going on with their business at this instantaneous moment, but for long-term vision, I buy their products almost every week because their stuff is not soy-based, it's more pea-based. It's healthier than the Impossible Meat. That's why I trust in it for the long term. I think when they get more partnerships with institutions and restaurants and other organizations, they'll probably be in a better run. And then law, they incorporate AI inside of their law practices in terms of how they read through documents. That's pretty much what they do. I spoke to that company for an interview to potentially do products, UX design work for them, but that didn't pan out by God's grace, which I'm grateful for. Rivian, we are down quite a bit, but the EV space, Rivian, XPeng, they both are down. They're both in the EV space. XPeng is more in the EV space and also flying cars, which is why I'm holding on to them for the long-term vision. Jemiah, we are up, which is good. We're in the green. Nikola, I'm holding on to it. I think they're gonna increase in trajectory at one point once the whole EV space really starts to take off. And then Lab is the last one, biotech company, which I believed in for the past years. They provided me some good returns in the past, so that's why I decided to give this a shot. So we are up 30%, y'all. If we just look at the gains, we are up 30%, which is great for 4 months of return. Usually they tell you to get 10%, 15% within a year. 15 is even more aggressive, right? 7 to 10% is the norm. So we are at 30%. So we are outpacing inflation plus having some good margins in return. This is, again, not me bragging, but understand that I had no control of the timing of when this would happen. I just knew at some point in the future we would be experiencing some growth. I just didn't know when. It's unpredictable, and that's why you just gotta be patient and invest diligently. Our 10,000 portfolio, look at that. We are also up about 30%, which is pretty crazy. This was actually higher than the $1,000 portfolio for the past weeks, but it seems like the $1,000 portfolio is catching up. So it's heading there. These are more like things like you can buy in Charles Schwab. So ITYX is more like a tech-based index fund. ARGFX, they're another index fund. They're black owned, that's why I support them. And then GDLC, LTCN, BCH, GBTC, they're all crypto-based stocks. So whenever crypto shoots up, they'll go up as well. It just allows you to purchase these within a normal brokerage, so that way you can track crypto's performance. I purchased these for my retirement because I cannot buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all these other things directly, Litecoin. I'm able to purchase these instead inside of the retirement directly, so as crypto goes up, they go up as well. So I'm kind of technically invested in crypto in some form. I already spoke about Nikola, Lab, Neo, all in the EV space, Workhorse. T-Doc in the telehealth space, I don't know when they're going to shoot up, but it might take its time. And GoTo and Tao, they're both in the educational space. They're all foreign, based in China. What happened, they took a huge dive when the government decided to make after-school tutoring more of a free model rather than a paid service. So of course it affected their business model. If you look at their financials for the past couple years, they've been pretty flat. So they're not losing money. They have to re-strategize in terms of how they're operating. The last quarter was bad, obviously, but they just have to figure out a different way to tap into those limitations that the government has provided for them. And you got Jemiah, Xpeng. Stir is more of a gamble thing. We already spoke about Law, Rivian, Beyond Meat. Paymentus, they're a payment provider. I think a lot of small businesses and other organizations are utilizing them, and they experienced some recent growth recently. And everything else is all crypto, like Matic, LTCN. Near had experienced good growth, but we are in an upward trajectory. Even Dogecoin is doing pretty nicely, and that's what equated for us to be at this mark right now. Be a patient investor. Do not panic when you see things go down. My custodial account that I set up for my Godson at one point was valued at $650, which is crazy. And now it is 6 times the value from that $650 where it reached at, which is pretty insane. I did not predict it would happen at this time. There's no way you can guarantee time, guarantee returns on any particular investment. All you got to do is be patient, do your due diligence, and look at the things that you really like, understand how it works, the business model, and see where the opportunities lies for the future. So peace and love, trust in Jesus. Have an amazing one. Like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions for me, of course, drop it below. Thank you so much for checking out my video. My goal is to be able to share as much knowledge, wisdom, experience that I've been given, privilege from God over the years, to be able to give that to you and also be able to receive from you as well. This can definitely be a two-way dialogue. It doesn't have to be one way at all. It's just for us to be engaged. And I'm just continuously sharing as things that I see move along the market. So I hope you find insights, and your feedback is greatly appreciated as well. How can you support me? Right now, I have these wristbands. You can get them at Luxtreaux.com. I've been selling them on eBay for quite some time. it just says make your statement. It's just a encouraging, inspirational message. You can purchase these right now, available on there. Eventually it will be spun off to other things and I'll have other products, but that's one way you can do right now. But most importantly is just making sure you receive something from the content I've given. And if you have any feedback, that is probably the most valuable thing I could say you can give to me. So I appreciate it, and I hope that we can continue to build a long-term relationship with each other and just grow with one another. Peace. And if you have any questions, definitely drop it below.